you bump into, man?
I agree with you on the status thing. We talked about this with Crowder earlier. I said if there's one amplifier that you would pick if you just wanted to strictly attract women, it would be status. Because, at some point, you could be handsome, right? You could have money, whatever, and some girls are going to gravitate towards that. But like status is like the one thing that like if you're famous, you look at a guy like, I like to use Bad Bunny as an example, right?
Yeah.
If he wasn't famous, would he get as many women for being like, bisexual and stuff? Most women would be repulsed by that.
Yes.
But he's able to still attract a majority of hot girls.
Is he bisexual? Is that what he says?
Yeah, he pretty much says that he likes.
But Tai, we want your opinion on this, man, real quick.
Yeah.
So
we argue that the most status-driven, I want to say, profession you can get girls is reggaeton artists.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Reggaeton, if you want Latin women,
Yeah.
ain't gonna fucking help you. I live in Sweden. They don't give a shit about reggaeton. But yeah, down in Miami, I'll tell. Look, I have my own. I call it my 13 thesis, my 13 hypothesis for a high status man. I'd say you're onto something. I would say that there's other. Here's the question: who would you fucking hide your girl from? That's the question.
Okay.
So am I hiding my girl from a reggaeton artist? There's a subset of women that don't care about. There's women that don't care, more like grimy. I'll tell you who you got to hide your girl from. Like John Mayer. You remember John Mayer? Everybody talks about body count, but I'm like, it's not. You want me to tell you the most powerful measurement on a man? Because dudes count their body count. They're like, brah, I slept with 600 women, 200 women, whatever.
Yeah.
No. Who was the first love of the most beautiful women? That's a powerful man. John Mayer has women.
Imprint.
He has Taylor Swift. 10 years later, she's writing angry things about that. She's in her head for decades. So John. Here's the thing about John Mayer. And I don't know who would win, reggaeton artist or John Mayer. But John Mayer is, on the guitar, considered maybe the greatest living guitarist by men. So he has the status of men. He's a great singer, and he's 6'4" and good looking.
Caucasian, which most women prefer Caucasian men, statistically speaking.
Yeah, that's what I said. John Mayer. But I mean, look, I'll tell you this: about 10% of women are totally faithful monogamous. So you got to look at the subsets of women too. So some women going to sleep with a dude of any status. He's a fucking accountant at H&R Block. She can be like, that's enough status for me. Yeah, so you got to segment the population. But reggaeton might be pretty powerful. Yeah. Movie stars strong, dude.
Yeah, that's strong too. But I don't know if they have the same allure that they had 20 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like
it's like influencers are starting to take over now. Unless you're A-list celeb, you're a Leo or something. That's different. Like Leo.
But okay, let me just play devil's advocate.
Yeah, please.
Men forget about the fantasy world. Like men watch porn. They don't want fantasy. Women wear lingerie to create fantasy. Men are like, you look better without. You ain't getting that from me. Fuck lingerie, right? You watch a dude's porn. There's a great book on this. What's it called? 1,000 Little Pieces, 1,000,000 Little Pieces. It's the science. This researcher studied the data from porn. Okay, so like dudes are looking at like fucking just primitive shit. Okay, now women are out here watching porn where nobody touches each other.
Right.
They're in the fantasy world. So the men who create massive fantasy. So the reason DiCaprio is so powerful is because Titanic, a lot of women now who just turned 18 today will watch Titanic for the first time and it gets in their head. And they can't differentiate that DiCaprio's not really a hero. Remember Notebook with Gosling?
Yeah,
so men, I agree with you, influencers on the rise. But a lot of influencers are very reality-based. You know who, you ever seen this dude that never shows his face? Oh, fuck, what's this guy's name? He's a heavy metal dude. He doesn't show his name. Come on, somebody has to know. He shows his hands, and he speaks, and he, like, talks on
Someone
Instagram.
in the chat's going to say it.
Who knows this guy?
Say it for sure.
What's this dude? This is all dudes. This fucking guy crushes with women. Somebody put Diglett. No, I'll remember. Yeah, Corpse husband. Yeah. Oh. Hide your girl from Corpse husband because she doesn't have to meet him and she's going to leave you virtually in her brain. Dude, Corpse husband is a fucking genius. It might be some puny ass motherfucker guy that has a voice synthesizer. You watch it. It's 98% women. watching him, and he'll get in there, he'll be like, "Hello, ladies," and it's just like
Val Venus type shit.
Wow.
oh yeah, but he never shows his face.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are too focused. I'm like, on your face. I'm like, fuck your face. The one good news about being a man, you can have an ugly face. You can make up for that shit with other stuff.
Yeah.
Women, it's a little tougher.
Yeah, like that's the good thing about men is like, yes, it's harder to attract, but you have more goes at it because you have more metrics that you can use to, you know, amplify any weak points you might have, but I think the strongest one is absolutely status.
Yes.
But, you know, obviously there's a bunch of ones, you know, physicality, height, income, all these things. But
yeah, well, that's what I said. You got to go domain specific. You have to. So there's a thing. One of the most important things in evolution is FDS. So frequency dependent selection. So nature in its omnipotence, or if you're religious, you call it God, distributes. For example, there are women. There's a subset of women. I've seen them. They do not care about looks. They call themselves, you know, sapiosexual. They're very attractive. Einstein was banging chicks.
Yeah.
Little Einstein. I knew a dude that knew Einstein, an old guy, and he said he smells horrible. But Einstein was a sapiosexual. You start dissecting. You go E equals MC squared. But the bigger question I think you're going to is who gets the largest slice of the pie?
Yeah.
Nerdy dudes don't get the largest slice.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't. But you get a slice.
Yeah.
So if you'll get a little slice of the pie, and in an 8 billion person world where 4 billion are women, a little slice can be all you ever need, keep you busy for life. So I think the men who get the largest maybe is the reggaeton, the musicians. It's the spiritual artists, I call it. Women is very powerful, a spiritual artist. So music is a non-materialistic, transcendent thing. So people who control that domain, whether it's art. I mean, I know a guy in New York. I used to collect his art. This fucking dude's ugly. I mean, his ratio of tens is ridiculous. He gets women there. He's like, I want to paint your hands and shit. And they come there. And it's like, Victoria's Secret model, blah, 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 and they're all fighting over him. If this guy worked at a car wash, I mean, he'd be a fucking involuntary incel.
Yeah.
Genes disappear off planet Earth.
You know, if you have like a really interesting or cool skill that you can display at social gatherings, like I know, for example, Mystery, right? We spoke about him before.
Yeah.
Magician. Could you imagine going up in a club or whatever? And this is back before cell phones and everything else like that, you know, doing magic tricks and stuff like that. Like, girls like, oh my God. Like, you know, because it's a skill that not that many people have.
Yeah, David Blaine,
right?
for
And
example.
it's interesting, you know,
Chris Angel.
magicians kill it too. So it's like, you know, it depends. And the other thing too, because, you know, the black pill guys like, looks are everything. Not necessarily. You know, there's a bunch of...
What's that called? The black pill?
Yeah, the black pill
How many
guys.
fucking colors are there? I know there's red pill. They got maroon pill. Who the fuck is this?
Basically, they said that you know, looks are everything. And it's like, look, for a lot of women, looks matter to a degree, but you'd be amazed at how you can compensate for it if you have other attributes.
It's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
Speaking of pieces of...
Pablo, by the way, let me, not to interrupt you. Pablo Picasso is 5'3". Look it up. 5'3". He had like 12 women, long-term relationships. I think 2 women hung themselves or ended up in an insane asylum when he left them. Pablo Picasso was killing the game. But I'll tell you this. I've watched Pablo Picasso. There's a YouTube video before he died. Somebody had shot on film, not obviously on YouTube. The man is a magical, don't forget charisma.
Yeah.
Like charisma is powerful, man. Charisma, money's powerful. I would say looks. I think there's a subset of women that you will not get without looks. So if I'm not the best looking guy in the world.
It's the barrier to entry for a portion.
Yeah, but leave that.
Yeah, that's
fuck
fine.
that section.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You got to have a need. It's like in business. I don't look at every business and go, I got to own everything. Just fuck that. Let other people live in that world. By the way, I would not go after that world. Why you want to play in that world? Especially if you want a mom. You want a mom, just don't let the superficial women all fuck the same subset of dudes. Really, just leave. That's the A player Tinder dude. There's a guy who's the most matched Tinder guy in the world. And I texted him, and he follows me on Insta. He's an English guy. I don't know. He gets like 14,000 matches his first day or whatever. You can Google.
What's the metrics on this guy? I'm interested for the data.
He's a tall light skinned model. He's not white.
Mixed.
He's mixed. He's light
Black
skin.
and white?
He's about your color. I'd say he's about your skin, a little darker than me, a little lighter than. Yeah, he's a tall model guy, and he takes great pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta dissect the marketplace and say the superficial women. Can I play in that space? Just like I do in business. Yeah. I drop into a section. It's like, okay, am I going to buy this business or launch this? I can't win there. You know, Jack Welch, the greatest CEO of all time, said he only would play games that he was could be number 1 or number 2. So a lot of men, what happens is men are moving into a territory you'll never be 1 or 2. Leave that. Leave it for whatever, the black pillars or whatever the fuck it is. You can move all around, you know, and there's a lot of pills out there.